here is a basic and super famous technique. Maybe you should know, I'm sure that maybe like many of you know about this technique. So basically for the adolescents, I highly recommend that technique, and for my students as well who had trouble with concentration and who tend to complain that he's studying for the whole day. I said, I don't want you to study for the whole day. You need to take breaks as well. I just want you to study 2 hours a day. That would be really enough for me. Only 2 hours? Yes. If your mom is going to tell you something, I'm going to talk to her. You shouldn't worry about that. I just want you to study 2 hours daily, but you will do it with Pomodoro technique. So Pomodoro technique basically is just helps you to set the time for 20 minutes. And during the 25 minutes, you shouldn't be bothered by other things. You just sit, focus on that, and then try to complete your task, take short break, and then going back to your studies for like 25 minutes more. And this technique will really help you for the kids to focus more, especially for if your child's learning style is kinesthetic. For the kinesthetic, their concentration span is lower with other learners, so this technique is going to help you. And then other thing is, let me ask you other question, but I just want you to be honest. For how many hours your kids use their telephone or computer games, or use the internet daily? Can you just write that time, like duration, daily duration, how many hours or how many minutes your kids are spending their time with gadgets? Okay, so here is here is the first response, and which is about 3 hours, right? Not a lot. In US, 9 to 3 p.m. 4 to 6, 7 hours, 2 hours. It seems like 3, 4 hours, 4 hours. Nowadays, most of times they use. Okay, so basically, it's just unfortunately that unavoidable, right? We can't for example, when I see parents like this, they just say like, when they feel that their kids are like dependent, they're dependent on their gadgets, on the internet, they are doing so radical decisions, just like, okay, nobody is going to have internet now, I'm not paying for the Wi-Fi anymore. We don't need that. We don't want you to just keep the kids away from Wi-Fi. We need to set inner control in the kids. It's really important. But just because when they go to other place and they will have that access, they will do it a lot. We want them to use it because it's unavoidable. The generation that kids are just can't live another way. They are born with technology. They see how their parents are using technology, so they use it as well. We can't avoid that. So if you have a tendency to just, okay, now like nobody is going to use it and so on, instead of telling them that they shouldn't use a gadget at all, instead of that, it's better for us to set the limits. It's very important for us to give the specific time which they can use. I'm not talking about the online classes. Online classes is fine, right? Because now they don't have choice, and that's why they start online, which is all right. They started just like that. But after that, maybe they will need some time to have a rest, and then just to play the games or chat with their friends and so on. So as we are running some programs for the kids, we found the optional time for the daily usage, which is 2 hours. No more than 2 hours daily. And for the 2 hours as well, what we should do, there should be some breaks. You shouldn't leave the kids for entire 2 hours. Okay, now you have your gadget time, do whatever you want. We just say them, okay, each of you have 2 hours daily to use your gadgets. And for the 2 hours, let me just know which time you are going to use that. Okay, and he says like, I want to use it for 1 hour in the morning. Okay, and what is for the another hour, another hour? He just maybe he says evening, let's say after dinner, and so on. only 2 hours, we say. If your kids are not using more than 2 hours, just for 1 hour, we are not advertising that. Okay, actually you can use it more, but if they are using more than 2 hours, we should start practicing that. We should set some limits there. And I would highly recommend for you if this will be pronounced by father. Like the rules in the home will be set by father, just because like this kind of things which is related with the discipline is more associated with the father than with the mother. So if it is like whole family and you have father and mother as well, I would recommend you so that it will be set by fathers. And when we talk about one thing, there is like super basic words, which is monkey see, monkey do, right? So when we are telling to the kids, okay, nobody is going to use the gadget for more than 2 hours, and then they have already run out their time and you're sitting with your telephone and doing these kind of things. Still, if you need your telephone just to work and you're using your telephone to do some work stuff and so on, I would recommend you to use more your computer, so that when the kids will come or you are playing another game and so on, you just say, you have your online classes, right? So just like my online classes, I have to do my work as well. So I'm not using it for fun. I just wanted to see it, okay? So that it would be like fair. In our family, everyone, a mother, father, and all of the family members are able to use a telephone only for 2 hours. So that is why I would really highly recommend you to set that limit. But here is another question. Okay, they are not going to use a gadget for, they are going to use their gadget only for 2 hours. But what they are going to do for entire day? We have like, they are awake, let's say like for 15 hours, let's say. In 2 hours, they are bothered with gadgets, and what they will do for other 13 hours. Let's say 2 hours they eat and so on. They have other, let's say, like 8 hours. What they are going to do? Anything which, like, if they won't have the goals, they will like keep begging you to give their gadget back. That is why kids should be bothered with something. They should have their daily goals. If you just say, okay, only don't use the gadget, instead of that, you should say, maybe we can do some reading, let's play together some games and so on. Here's one other thing. When we are, let's say, I want to ask you some question and I want you to be honest. Could you just not think for about ice cream for 1 minute? You know that ice cream, chocolate ice cream with some fruits. It's just chocolate ice cream with vanilla, and then this chocolate ice cream with some pieces of bitter chocolate, white chocolate, and it's served with strawberry and orange. Could you just not to think about ice cream? You know that ice cream, chocolate ice cream, which is really tasty and nice, especially when it's super sunny day and you are thirsty, and then you are eating this super tasty, super delicious ice cream. Could you not think about ice cream? So my question is here, is there anyone who thought about ice cream? Is there anyone who did think about chocolate ice cream right now? Can you just write yes or no? Is there someone who did think about ice cream right now? Okay. Amalia, I would really want to meet with you, because you wrote, I didn't think at all. It's really nice, because usually people tend to think about that. Okay. School, can you just read responses of our participants here?
Yeah, let me just read. So the answers are yes, yes, no, yes, no, no, yes.
Mm-hmm. For those who wrote no, that's really interesting, because I wonder what you've been thinking about during that time. But for those who wrote yes, it is totally normal, because when I'm telling to you, please don't think about ice cream. Actually, I'm already giving you some verbal stimuli so that you would really think about that, okay? So instead of telling what not to do, we should say what we should do, okay? Let me ask you another question. In Japan, which transport is using a lot? Like, you know, in Japan, there is like a huge traffic jam. And let me ask you one question. Which transport is used as well? Like, yes, let me just give you some time. Okay, which is like individual, not like metro and bus, but maybe what is used more? Metro, like say, let me give you some options, which is bike, bicycle, or car. Which type of transport is used more?
So it's bicycle, train, car, bicycle, bike, bicycle, and car.
Okay. So there was one research, thank you very much, Raskul, and according to the research, there was a problem with parking bicycles because it was parked in the wrong way, so that it will just like make the like problems on these tiny roads, and those who are using bicycle would have some problems riding it just because previous bicycles was parked in the wrong way. Because like there was one warning. It was said, please don't park your bicycles in the wrong way. And then they invited some psychologists and asked what we should do so that we won't have that problem. And they used to think, and then finally they found one option, and they wrote like, please park your bicycles in this way. And in an interesting way, there was the problem not for 100%, but there were more people who started parking their bicycles in the right way. So instead of telling what not to do, we should say what they should do. So when we are telling for the kids that you can use that you can use your gadget only for the 2 hours, we should make the program for the entire day as well. So every day your child should have some goals to do, some tests to complete. Otherwise, they will just get used to do nothing. The kids should learn for that. And for the generation, the kids, one problem is that they're not ambitious enough, because they get everything ready. When they want to play some game, they just type in game and they get a lot of like billions of options for the game. Or they want to eat something, you prepare something, or you can order, or they can order something, and so on. It's so easy for them to get the thing they want. I remember once I was studying in a school and I needed to do some projects. I used to go for the library to open the books and find that information, write it, and then give it to the teacher. I used to use a lot of energy to prepare the project. But for the kids today, it's so super easy. They just get everything ready. And that is why, according to the sociologists, in the future, today's kids, we won't have more like that ambitious kids, ambitious adults, because they get everything ready. They are not forcing themselves enough. So I would really recommend you to give them daily goals and tasks, some responsibilities they should do.